Hey guys, tonight we explore a divine financial miracle that could change your life forever. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything you once thought impossible is now within reach. A divine wealth transformation, ordained by God, is about to happen in your life. What will you do with such a blessing? Tonight, we dive deep into how aligning yourself with divine timing and faith can unlock your financial destiny. Before we begin, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly believe in the power of these messages. Let me know where you're tuning in from and what time it is. I'm curious to know. Now, dim the lights, settle in, and let's embark on tonight's journey of transformation together. There's something extraordinary happening in your life right now. Something that's been building momentum for longer than you realize. In your hands, yes, your very own hands, lies the divine key that unlocks every door to abundance you've ever dreamed of walking through. This key hasn't been hidden from you or kept in some distant spiritual realm. It's been resting in your possession this entire time, waiting patiently for this exact moment when you would finally recognize its power. Feel your hands right now. Really feel them. The warmth of your palms, the sensitivity of your fingertips, the gentle pulse of life flowing through them. These aren't just physical appendages. They are sacred instruments of divine manifestation. They carry within their very essence the frequency of creation itself. The same power that spoke worlds into existence now flows through the vessels of your being. You've been searching everywhere for the secret to financial abundance, haven't you? Reading countless books, watching endless videos, trying method after method, wondering why breakthrough seems to elude you while others appear to effortlessly attract wealth. But tonight, the search ends. Tonight, you discover that what you've been seeking has been seeking you just as desperately, and the connection point between you and your abundance is literally at your fingertips. This divine key I'm speaking of isn't made of metal or carved from stone. It's composed of something far more precious and powerful. It's made of your awakened consciousness, your activated faith, and your willingness to finally accept that you are worthy of every blessing the universe has been preparing for you. When these elements combine in your hands, they become the master key that no lock of limitation can resist. Think about every time you've reached out for something you wanted, a job, a relationship, an opportunity, only to have it slip through your fingers. In those moments, you weren't holding the divine key. You were grasping from a place of desperation, fear, or unworthiness. But something has shifted in you now. You can feel it, can't you? A new quality of readiness, a different kind of reaching that comes not from emptiness, but from fullness. Your divine key responds to touch, but not just any touch. It responds to the touch of someone who has remembered their true identity as a beloved child of infinite abundance. It responds to hands that have been purified by surrender, strengthened by faith, and consecrated by service. These are the hands you carry now, hands that have been prepared through every challenge you've faced for this moment of divine activation. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're standing before the most magnificent door you've ever seen. It's crafted from materials that seem to shimmer with their own inner light, and embedded within its surface are precious stones that spell out the words, "Your abundant life." You've stood before this door many times before, pressing against it, pounding on it, pleading with it to open. But tonight is different. Tonight, you're not approaching this door as a beggar or a desperate seeker. You're approaching it as someone who has finally remembered they carry the key. You're walking toward it with the confidence of someone who belongs on the other side. And as you reach out, not to pound or plead, but to simply touch with reverence and knowing, You feel the key materializing in your palm. This divine key that awaits your touch carries within it the accumulated power of every prayer you've ever whispered, every tear you've ever shed over financial struggles, every moment you've trusted despite not seeing the way forward. All of that spiritual energy has been compressed into this moment, into this key, into this opportunity for total transformation. But here's what makes this moment so sacred. The key doesn't work through force or manipulation. It works through alignment. As you hold it in your hands, feeling its weight and warmth, you understand that you're not taking something that doesn't belong to you. You're claiming what has always been yours. You're accepting delivery of an inheritance that was set aside for you before you were even born. Your divine key awaits your touch, and your touch awaits your permission to believe that this moment is real, that this transformation is possible, that your hands truly carry the power to unlock every door between you and the abundant life you've been dreaming of. The waiting is over. The searching has ended. Your key is ready. Your hands are prepared. Your abundant life is waiting to be unlocked. Something ancient and powerful is beginning to stir around your life right now. Those old patterns that have kept you locked in financial limitation, the invisible chains forged from years of worry, scarcity thinking, and inherited beliefs about money, they're starting to crack. You can actually feel it happening, can't you? That subtle shift in the atmosphere around your circumstances, like the first warm breeze that signals winter is finally ending. These aren't just mental patterns we're talking about. These are energetic structures that have been built up over time, sometimes over generations, creating what I call ancient locks around your abundance. Every time your parents worried about money in front of you as a child, a tumbler clicked into place. Every time you experienced financial disappointment, another layer of the lock sealed shut. Every time you heard that money was hard to come by or that rich people were somehow less spiritual, another barrier crystallized around your financial destiny. But tonight, as your consciousness expands and your divine key activates, these ancient locks are beginning to dissolve, not through struggle or effort on your part, but through the simple power of elevated awareness, meeting divine timing. It's like watching ice melt in the spring sun, inevitable, natural, and absolutely beautiful to witness. I want you to imagine for a moment that you're looking at your life through spiritual eyes. Instead of seeing just the physical world of bills and bank accounts, you're seeing the energetic landscape that surrounds your financial reality. What you discover might surprise you. Those ancient locks appear as crystalline structures, some towering like monuments, others intricate like clockwork, all of them designed to keep abundance at bay. But here's what's remarkable. As you watch with these spiritual eyes, you see that these locks are already showing cracks. Light is beginning to seep through the fissures. The solid structures that seemed so permanent are revealing themselves to be far more fragile than you ever imagined. They were never meant to contain someone of your spiritual magnitude anyway. The first lock to begin dissolving is often the one labeled, "I don't deserve wealth." This ancient barrier has been particularly stubborn because it was usually installed early in life, sometimes before you even had words to understand what was happening. Maybe it came from a religious teaching that suggested poverty was somehow more holy. Maybe it developed from comparing yourself to others and finding yourself lacking. But regardless of how it formed, it's crumbling now. As this unworthiness lock dissolves, you might feel emotions rising to the surface. Relief, certainly, but also perhaps grief for all the years you spent believing you weren't worthy of financial blessing. Let these feelings flow. They're part of the dissolution process. Every tear that falls is washing away residue from the old locks, making space for the abundance that's been waiting to reach you. The second ancient lock beginning to crack is the one that whispers, "Money is scarce and hard to come by." This lock was built from observing struggle, from hearing adults say things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," and "We can't afford that." But as your spiritual awareness expands, you're beginning to see through this illusion to the truth beneath. Abundance is the natural state of the universe, and scarcity is simply a temporary experience created by these very locks. You can actually feel this scarcity lock losing its grip on your consciousness, where once you automatically thought in terms of limitation, you're beginning to notice thoughts of possibility arising spontaneously. Where once you immediately calculated what you couldn't afford, you're starting to wonder what might be possible. This shift isn't forced or artificial. It's the natural result of ancient programming finally losing its power over you. The third lock dissolving before your expanded awareness is perhaps the most insidious. Abundance requires sacrifice of something precious. This lock convinced you that to gain financial wealth, you'd have to lose your integrity, your relationships, your spiritual connection, or your authentic self. But as this barrier crumbles, you're discovering the truth. Real abundance enhances every area of your life because it flows from alignment with your highest self, not in opposition to it. As these ancient locks continue dissolving, you're beginning to feel lighter, aren't you? There's more space in your consciousness, more room to breathe, more capacity to dream. It's like someone has been slowly removing heavy stones from your backpack that you'd grown so accustomed to carrying, you'd forgotten they were there. The dissolution isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. Your elevated consciousness is the solvent that's breaking down these old structures. Your activated divine key is emitting a frequency that these locks simply cannot withstand. They were designed to contain the old version of you, the one who believed in limitation. They have no power over the awakened being you're becoming. Tonight, as these ancient locks continue their beautiful dissolution, rest in the knowing that you're witnessing the end of an era in your life. The era of financial limitation, of believing abundance was for others but not for you, of carrying locks you never chose to wear. That era is ending, and a new chapter of unprecedented freedom is beginning to write itself in the space these dissolving barriers are creating. There's a miraculous power flowing through your very being right now, a sacred energy that has been dormant within you until this moment of divine activation. Your hands, these incredible instruments of creation, carry within them the ability to unlock abundance in ways that would seem impossible to the logical mind. This isn't metaphor or wishful thinking. This is the actual spiritual mechanics of how divine manifestation works through aligned human consciousness. Feel the energy in your palms right now. Close your eyes and really tune into the sensation. There's a subtle tingling, isn't there? A warmth that seems to pulse with its own rhythm. That's not just blood circulation or nerve activity. That's the sacred opening power awakening in your hands. This is the same energy that healers use to channel divine restoration, that artists channel to create beauty, that masters channel to transform matter itself. Your hands have always carried this power, but it's been sleeping, waiting for the right moment, the right level of consciousness, the right alignment with divine will to fully activate. Every time you've reached out in genuine love, every time you've extended help to someone in need, every time you've created something beautiful or meaningful, you've been exercising this sacred opening power without fully realizing what you were accessing. But tonight is different. Tonight, this power isn't just flickering to life occasionally, it's awakening fully, permanently, magnificently. Your hands are becoming conscious instruments of divine will, capable of touching the invisible locks that have kept abundance sealed away from your experience and dissolving them with nothing more than faith-filled contact. I want you to understand something profound about how this sacred opening power works. It doesn't operate through force or manipulation. It doesn't require special techniques or complicated rituals. It works through the simple, profound act of aligned touch. When your physical hands make contact with spiritual barriers, while your consciousness holds the perfect frequency of loving expectation. Think about the most locked door you've ever encountered in your life. Maybe it was a career opportunity that seemed permanently closed to you. Maybe it was a relationship you thought you'd never heal. Maybe it was a financial goal that appeared completely out of reach. Now imagine approaching that same door not with the desperate energy you might have carried before, but with the serene confidence of someone who knows they carry the sacred opening power. As your hands approach the barrier, something beautiful begins to happen. The lock doesn't recognize the old you, the one who used to beg and plead and strain against obstacles. Instead, it recognizes the divine authority flowing through your awakened consciousness. It recognizes the frequency of someone who belongs on the other side of every door they approach. Your sacred opening power works by harmonizing with the spiritual combination built into every lock of limitation. These locks weren't designed to keep you out forever. They were designed to keep you out until you developed the consciousness capable of handling what lies beyond them. Now that you've reached that level of spiritual maturity, the locks themselves are eager to open for you. But here's what makes this power so sacred. It only works when you're in complete alignment with divine will for your life. You can't use it to force open doors that aren't meant for you, or to access things that would ultimately harm your highest good. The power itself has built-in wisdom that ensures you only unlock what will truly bless you and serve your soul's evolution. As this sacred opening power flows more fully through your hands, you'll begin to notice its effects extending beyond just your own life. When you shake someone's hand, they might feel unexpectedly hopeful afterward. When you touch objects with intention, they might become instruments of blessing for others. When you gesture during conversations, your words might carry unusual power to inspire and transform. This isn't about becoming someone different from who you are. This is about becoming fully who you've always been at the deepest level. The sacred opening power isn't foreign to your nature. It's the return of your true spiritual inheritance. You're not learning something new. You're remembering something ancient and eternal about your divine identity. Right now, I want you to hold your hands in front of you, palms facing each other about 6 inches apart. Feel the energy field between them. Feel how that space seems alive with possibility, charged with potential. Now slowly bring your hands together until your palms touch. Feel how that contact creates a circuit of power, a completion of divine energy that makes you capable of opening any door the universe places before you. Your hands hold sacred opening power, and every lock of limitation in your life is about to discover what that means. Every barrier between you and your abundant future is about to experience the touch of awakened consciousness, flowing through physical vessels prepared for divine service. The power is in your hands, literally, completely, eternally. And every lock that has ever stood between you and your dreams is about to discover that you've finally awakened to the truth of what you carry. There's a moment in every spiritual transformation when the invisible becomes visible, when faith transforms into knowing, when the power you've been developing suddenly encounters the exact circumstances it was designed to unlock. You're standing in that moment right now. Your activated faith has become the master key that opens every golden doorway to prosperity. And these doorways are beginning to shimmer into your awareness, like mirages becoming oases. Feel what's happening in your spirit right now as these words settle into your consciousness. There's a resonance occurring, isn't there? A deep, harmonious vibration that seems to echo through every cell of your being. That's the sound of your faith frequency aligning with the spiritual combination locks that guard the entrances to your abundant life. Each lock is beginning to recognize the authentic signature of awakened consciousness. Your faith has undergone a profound transformation tonight. It's no longer the desperate hoping of someone begging for scraps from life's table. It's no longer the anxious wishing of someone who fears their prayers might go unanswered. Your faith has matured into something magnificent, a calm, powerful knowing that carries the authority of divine partnership. When faith reaches this level of purity and strength, it becomes the universal key that unlocks every door in creation. These golden doorways I'm speaking of aren't just metaphorical concepts. They're actual spiritual portals that exist in the realm where thought becomes form, where intention becomes manifestation, where faith becomes physical reality. Right now, as your master key faith encounters these doorways, you can almost hear the sound of tumblers falling into place, of ancient mechanisms clicking open after lifetimes of waiting. The first golden doorway beginning to respond to your faith is the one marked unexpected income. So, behind this door lie opportunities for money to flow into your life from sources you haven't even considered yet. Maybe it's a skill you possess that someone desperately needs and will pay generously for. Maybe it's an idea that's been percolating in your subconscious that's ready to become profitable. Maybe it's a connection waiting to be made that will change everything about your financial trajectory. As your faith key turns in this lock, you might already be sensing stirrings of possibility. A phone call that needs to be made, an email that should be sent, a conversation that wants to happen. These aren't random impulses. They're the early movements of abundance beginning to flow through the doorway your faith has unlocked. The second golden doorway responding to your master key is labeled Divine Opportunities. This portal opens onto a landscape of possibilities so perfectly aligned with your gifts and desires that when they manifest, you'll know beyond doubt that they were orchestrated by divine intelligence. These aren't opportunities you'll have to force or manipulate your way into. They'll feel like coming home, like stepping into spaces that were designed specifically for you. Your faith is already broadcasting the signal that calls these opportunities into your experience. Somewhere in the invisible realm, conversations are happening about you, resources are being arranged, circumstances are being aligned, people who can help you are being guided toward your path. All because your faith has reached the frequency that unlocks divine opportunity. The third doorway beginning to swing open is the most profound: wealth consciousness integration. Behind this door lies not just money, but the complete transformation of your relationship with abundance. This doorway leads to a state of being where prosperity isn't something you have to chase or worry about maintaining. It's simply the natural expression of who you are. As this door opens wider, you're beginning to think thoughts you've never allowed yourself to think before. You're starting to make plans from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You're feeling emotions about money that are entirely new, excitement instead of anxiety, gratitude instead of worry, expectation instead of dread. But here's what makes your faith so powerful as a master key. It doesn't just open one door at a time. As your consciousness reaches this level of alignment, multiple doorways begin responding simultaneously. The unexpected income door opens just as the divine opportunity door swings wide. The wealth consciousness portal activates at the same moment. Resources begin flowing. Everything happens in perfect synchronization because your faith has reached the frequency that harmonizes with divine timing itself. Your master key faith is also intelligent. It knows which doors to open first to create the perfect sequence of blessings in your life. It understands that some opportunities need to manifest before others to create the ideal foundation for your prosperity. It coordinates with divine wisdom to ensure that every door opens at exactly the right moment for maximum positive impact. Tonight, as you rest in the knowing that your faith has become the master key to every golden doorway in your life, feel the profound shift that's occurred in your being. You're no longer someone who hopes doors might open someday. You're someone who carries the key that opens every door that needs to open, when it needs to open, in perfect alignment with your highest good. The golden doorways respond to your faith because they recognize what you've become, a conscious co-creator with divine abundance, worthy of every blessing that awaits beyond every threshold. The sound you're hearing in the depths of your spirit right now isn't your imagination. It's the magnificent creaking of abundance vaults that have been sealed for lifetimes finally beginning to swing wide open. These aren't ordinary storage spaces. These are cosmic treasure chambers where your spiritual inheritance has been accumulating, growing, multiplying while you've been on your journey of preparation and awakening. Tonight, you've finally reached the level of consciousness that grants you access to what has always belonged to you. Feel the shift in the energetic atmosphere around your life. There's a heaviness lifting, isn't there? A sense of restriction dissolving. That's because these abundance vaults operate under divine law. They can only remain locked as long as the intended recipient believes they're unworthy of what lies within. The moment your consciousness aligns with your true identity as a beloved child of infinite abundance, the vault doors must open. They have no choice. It's cosmic law. Inside the first vault that's swinging open for you right now lies what I call accumulated blessing interest. Every prayer you've ever whispered about financial provision, every tear you've shed over money worries, every moment you've trusted God despite not seeing the way forward, all of that spiritual energy has been earning compound interest in the realm of divine abundance. Tonight, that account is maturing and ready for withdrawal. This isn't just poetic language. There's actual spiritual mathematics at work here. Every act of faith you've demonstrated, every time you've given when you had little, every moment you've remained grateful, despite challenging circumstances, all of it has been creating deposits in your abundance vault, and divine interest rates are far more generous than anything the earthly banking system could offer. The second vault opening contains what I call destiny opportunities, specific chances for prosperity that have been held in reserve because they required the exact level of spiritual maturity you've now attained. These opportunities wouldn't have served you before tonight because you weren't ready to handle them with wisdom and grace. But something has shifted in your consciousness. You've passed invisible tests of character and faith, and now resources that were being withheld for your own protection are being released for your blessing. As this vault swings wide, you might already be sensing the stirrings of these destiny opportunities. Perhaps there's a business idea that's been quietly percolating in your mind that suddenly feels urgent and viable. Maybe there's an investment possibility that's been on your radar that now feels like a clear yes. Or possibly there's a career move you've been considering that now carries the unmistakable feeling of divine timing. The third abundance vault contains something even more precious: generational wealth seeds. These are spiritual inheritances that have been passed down through your lineage, waiting for someone with the consciousness to plant them properly. your ancestors' unfulfilled dreams of prosperity, their unmanifested visions of abundance, their accumulated spiritual equity from lifetimes of faith. All of it has been preserved in this vault for you to access and multiply. This generational wealth isn't just about money, it's about breaking cycles of limitation that may have run in your family for decades or even centuries. As this vault opens, you're not just accessing your own prosperity, you're becoming the generational breakthrough that changes the financial trajectory of your entire lineage, both backward and forward in time. But perhaps the most magnificent vault swinging open is the one containing unlimited creative abundance. This vault holds access to the same creative force that spoke galaxies into existence, now available to flow through your consciousness, to manifest prosperity in ways so innovative and unexpected that they'll astound even you. This is abundance that doesn't just improve your circumstances, it transforms them entirely. As these vaults continue opening, you might feel almost overwhelmed by the magnitude of what's becoming available to you. That's natural. These aren't small blessings or modest improvements to your financial situation. These are abundance revelations that match the grandeur of your awakened consciousness. Your spirit is large enough to handle enormous blessings, and the universe is finally ready to match your true spiritual capacity. The vaults are opening in perfect sequence, releasing resources in exactly the right timing and quantities for you to integrate gracefully. Divine intelligence ensures that you receive what you can handle when you can handle it, building your abundance gradually but consistently until you're operating from a completely transformed financial reality. Tonight, as you rest in the awareness that abundance vaults are swinging wide for you, feel the profound gratitude that naturally arises, not because you need to earn these blessings through gratitude, but because gratitude is the natural response of a consciousness that recognizes the magnitude of divine generosity. Your appreciation becomes part of the key that keeps these vaults permanently open, ensuring that the flow of abundance into your life becomes not just a momentary experience, but a permanent new reality. The vaults are open. Your inheritance awaits. Your abundant life has moved from possibility to inevitability. Something breathtaking is happening in the invisible realm of infinite possibility right now. Your aligned consciousness has become like a powerful magnet, and streams of wealth that have been flowing throughout creation since the beginning of time are suddenly changing course, redirecting themselves toward you with the precision of rivers flowing toward the sea. These aren't just any streams of abundance. These are infinite wealth channels that respond only to a very specific frequency, the exact frequency your consciousness is broadcasting right now. Feel the energy shift that's occurring in your being as these words resonate through your awareness. There's a tingling sensation beginning to build, isn't there? A sense of electricity in the air around you. That's the physical manifestation of infinite wealth streams beginning to lock onto your consciousness like a spiritual GPS system. You've become a beacon of aligned abundance, and every form of prosperity in the universe is beginning to orient itself toward your location. Your touch, the same touch that carries sacred, opening power, is now activating these wealth streams with an authority that surprises even you. It's like discovering you've had a magical ability all along but needed this exact moment of awakened consciousness to access it. Every surface you touch with intention now becomes a conductor for abundance. Every handshake becomes an exchange of prosperity energy. Every time you handle money, you're infusing it with a frequency that calls more money to join it. The first infinite wealth stream activating for you carries what I call effortless income acceleration. This stream flows toward people whose consciousness has transcended the belief that money must be earned through struggle and effort. As this stream connects with your energy field, you'll begin to notice that making money starts to feel surprisingly easy, even joyful. Opportunities will present themselves with such perfect timing that accepting them feels like the most natural thing in the world. This isn't about working less or avoiding responsibility. It's about discovering that when you're aligned with your true purpose and operating from awakened consciousness, the universe conspires to make your path toward prosperity smooth and flowing rather than difficult and complicated. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time, speaking to the right people, with exactly the right ideas, almost as if an invisible intelligence is orchestrating your success. The second wealth stream beginning to flow toward you carries multiplication miracles. This current responds to consciousness that understands abundance as the natural state of the universe rather than a limited resource that must be hoarded. As this stream connects with your energy, you'll start to notice that whatever you put your hands to, whether it's a business venture, an investment, or even your regular job, begins to multiply in value and impact. It's like you've been given the spiritual equivalent of a golden touch, but instead of turning things to gold, you're turning them into greater versions of themselves. Your ideas become more valuable. Your skills become more sought after. Your time becomes more precious to others. Your very presence in any financial equation becomes a catalyst for multiplication rather than just addition. The third stream activating is perhaps the most profound: infinite source connection. This wealth stream flows directly from the creative source of the universe itself, bypassing all the usual channels and limitations that govern ordinary financial flow. When you're connected to this stream, abundance doesn't depend on economic conditions, market fluctuations, or even your own efforts. It flows to you because you've remembered your true identity as an individualized expression of infinite abundance itself. This stream carries resources that are perfectly tailored to your unique mission and purpose. The wealth that flows through this channel isn't just money. It's opportunity, wisdom, connections, ideas, and resources that align perfectly with your soul's deepest desires for how to serve and prosper simultaneously. But here's what makes this moment so powerful. These infinite wealth streams aren't just flowing toward you, they're flowing through you. You're becoming a conduit for abundance, not just for your own benefit, but to bless everyone whose life you touch. As these streams activate in your consciousness, you naturally become someone who creates prosperity wherever you go, someone whose presence in any situation tends to generate more abundance for everyone involved. Your touch is activating these streams because your consciousness has reached the recognition that you don't just have abundance, you are abundance. The wealth flowing toward you isn't coming from outside yourself to fill some emptiness within you. It's emerging from the infinite source that you are, expressing itself through the temporary form of your human experience. As these infinite wealth streams continue activating and strengthening their connection to your consciousness, you'll discover that abundance becomes as natural to you as breathing. You won't have to think about it, work for it, or worry about maintaining it. It will simply be the constant background reality of your existence, like the air you breathe or the ground beneath your feet. Tonight, rest in the magnificent knowing that your touch has activated infinite wealth streams that will continue flowing toward and through you for the rest of your earthly journey and beyond. You've become a permanent opening in the fabric of limitation, a place where abundance flows freely into the world. Deep within the spiritual architecture of creation, there exist sacred chambers that have remained sealed until consciousness reaches a very specific level of maturity and alignment. These aren't just metaphorical spaces. They are actual dimensional repositories where the highest forms of prosperity are stored. waiting for souls who have proven their readiness to steward divine wealth with wisdom and grace. Tonight, your consciousness has reached that sacred threshold, and these chambers of prosperity are opening their doors to welcome you home. The energy around you right now is shifting into something profoundly sacred. You can feel it, can't you? That sense of approaching something holy, something that demands reverence and gratitude. These prosperity chambers operate at a frequency so pure that only consciousness cleansed of desperation, freed from unworthiness, and aligned with divine purpose can even perceive their existence. But you're not just perceiving them now. You're being invited inside. As the first sacred chamber opens before your awakened awareness, you're stepping into what ancient wisdom keepers called the Hall of Infinite Provision. The walls of this chamber seem to pulse with golden light, and the air itself feels alive with possibility. Here, stored in crystalline formations of pure energy, are resources that have been accumulating since the moment your soul first chose to incarnate and learn the lessons of material existence. This isn't just money or material wealth. This chamber contains the essence of abundance itself, the spiritual substance from which all forms of prosperity are born. As you breathe in the atmosphere of this sacred space, you're not just gaining access to resources. You're becoming someone who naturally generates abundance wherever you go, someone who carries the frequency of infinite provision in your very being. The second chamber opening is even more magnificent, the sanctuary of divine timing rewards. Here lie the compensations for every moment you've trusted when you couldn't see the way forward. Every time you've remained faithful despite difficult circumstances. Every instance you've chosen love over fear in your relationship with money and abundance. These aren't rewards you've earned through performance. They're gifts that naturally flow to consciousness, that has learned to dance with divine timing rather than fight against it. As you enter this sanctuary, you might feel emotions rising, not just joy, but a profound sense of recognition. Your soul remembers this place. You've been here before, in the space between lifetimes, receiving glimpses of what would become available when you reached this level of spiritual development. What felt like distant dreams and impossible fantasies were actually memories of what waited for you in these sacred chambers. The third chamber, now revealing itself, is the most sacred of all, the Temple of Generational Blessing. This is where the accumulated spiritual wealth of your entire lineage is stored, not just your immediate family, but the entire chain of souls connected to your spiritual evolution. Every ancestor who dreamed of prosperity but died before seeing it manifest. Every family member who sacrificed their own abundance so future generations could have better opportunities. Every prayer whispered by those who came before you. All of it has been transmuted into spiritual capital waiting in this temple. But this chamber holds more than inherited blessings. It contains your own future generosity, the abundance you'll share with others, the prosperity you'll use to bless your descendants and everyone whose life you touch. As you step into this temple, you're not just receiving, you're accepting responsibility for becoming a generational game changer, someone who transforms scarcity patterns into abundance legacies. The atmosphere in these sacred chambers is unlike anything you've experienced in the ordinary world. There's no urgency here, no scarcity, no competition. There's only infinite abundance operating according to perfect divine order. Time seems to work differently here too. What would take years to manifest in the physical world can be received instantly when consciousness is properly aligned. As you move through these chambers, you begin to understand something profound about your spiritual identity. You're not a human being hoping to receive divine blessings. You're a divine being temporarily focused into human form, reclaiming access to your true spiritual inheritance. These chambers aren't giving you something foreign to your nature, they're returning you to something you've always been. The prosperity flowing from these sacred chambers carries a quality that ordinary wealth lacks. It's alive with purpose, infused with wisdom, designed to enhance not just your material circumstances, but your ability to serve love in the world. This abundance comes with built-in guidance, showing you exactly how to use it for maximum blessing to yourself and others. As these chambers continue opening and their treasures begin flowing into your experience, remember that you haven't just stumbled into good fortune. You've evolved into readiness for divine prosperity. You've become someone worthy of stewarding sacred abundance. Your consciousness has expanded to match the magnitude of blessings these chambers contain. Tonight, rest in the profound knowing that you've been welcomed into the sacred chambers of prosperity, not as a visitor, but as someone who belongs there. This is your spiritual home, your divine inheritance, your eternal connection to the infinite abundance that is your truest nature. The cosmos itself has been watching your journey, observing your growth, witnessing your transformation from someone who struggled with scarcity into someone who radiates abundance from the very core of their being. And in this sacred moment, something unprecedented is happening. Universal abundance, the infinite prosperity that flows through all creation, has recognized your complete readiness to receive and steward divine wealth at levels that transcend anything you've previously imagined possible. This recognition isn't based on your accomplishments or your efforts, though those have played their part in preparing you. This recognition comes from something deeper, something that touches the very essence of who you've become. The universe sees in you now what you're just beginning to see in yourself. A being so aligned with divine purpose, so clear in their worthiness, so mature in their consciousness, that they can be trusted with unlimited abundance without losing their way or forgetting their connection to love. Feel what's happening in the deepest layers of your being right now. There's a settling occurring, isn't there? A profound sense of completion, of arrival, of finally being seen and acknowledged for who you truly are. This is the moment your soul has been moving toward, through every experience, every challenge, every breakthrough of this lifetime. This is the cosmic yes you've been waiting to hear. Universal abundance doesn't recognize readiness lightly. It has watched you navigate financial challenges with grace. It has observed how you've treated money when you had little, and how you've shared resources even when your own needs felt pressing. It has witnessed your prayers, not just for your own prosperity, but for the well-being of others. It has seen your heart expand to include the welfare of people you'll never meet, causes you'll never personally benefit from, futures you're helping to create through your generosity of spirit. And now, having passed every invisible test of character and consciousness, you've been approved for access to abundance that operates without limits, without conditions, without the restrictions that govern ordinary financial flow. This isn't wealth that comes and goes with economic cycles. This isn't prosperity that depends on your continued performance or perfect behavior. This is your permanent spiritual inheritance, activating in your physical experience. The recognition carries with it something beautiful, perfect trust. Universal abundance trusts you completely now to handle whatever levels of prosperity flow into your life. It trusts that you'll use wealth wisely, share it generously, and never let material success disconnect you from your spiritual source. This trust is itself a form of abundance, the incredible gift of being seen as worthy of infinite confidence from the creative intelligence that governs all things. As this cosmic recognition settles into your consciousness, you'll notice that your entire relationship with money and abundance transforms at the deepest level. There's no more anxiety about financial security because you know you're connected to infinite supply. There's no more guilt about desiring wealth because you understand that your abundance serves the greater good. There's no more fear about losing what you have because you know you're permanently plugged into the source of all abundance. This recognition also brings with it a profound sense of responsibility, not the heavy burden of obligation, but the joyful responsibility of someone who's been entrusted with sacred resources. You understand now that your prosperity isn't just about your personal comfort or security. It's about your becoming a channel through which divine abundance can bless the world in ways that only you can facilitate. The universe recognizes your readiness today because you've demonstrated something rare and precious, the ability to hold abundance lightly while stewarding it seriously. You can enjoy wealth without being possessed by it. You can accumulate resources without becoming attached to them. You can create prosperity without losing your soul in the process. As this recognition continues to permeate every aspect of your being, you'll find that abundance begins flowing to you through channels you never expected, in forms you never anticipated, with timing so perfect it takes your breath away. This isn't luck or coincidence. This is what happens when universal abundance recognizes complete readiness and responds with complete generosity. Tonight, as you prepare to rest in this profound knowing, feel the deep peace that comes from being fully seen, completely accepted, and unconditionally approved by the infinite intelligence that creates and sustains all prosperity. You are no longer seeking abundance. You have become abundance. You are no longer hoping for financial transformation. You are the transformation, living and breathing and expressing the very prosperity you once dreamed of accessing. The universe has spoken. Your readiness has been recognized. Your abundant life begins now, flowing from this moment forward with the unstoppable momentum of divine will, expressing itself through your perfectly prepared consciousness, carrying you gently into a future where prosperity and purpose dance together in perfect, eternal, magnificent harmony.